Hey guys, welcome to another Walking Dead action figure review. This time I'm reviewing Series 8 Bob Stookey. I know, it's been so long. I actually got one at one point, and as you guys know, he's a rare one, so that was pretty rough, hard findings for me, but then it turned out he was broken. So now I'm finally getting my Bob Stookey, and I'm going to review him. So let's start out here by looking at his box. Yep. Says Bob up there, and then on the back I'm doing a review of Bob here, and then Tyrese, he's a Target exclusive, very hard to find. Then Dale, I did a review of him. Morgan, Eugene, Rick, and Carol, did a review of all of them. Pretty much, I own all the series, so I think I will go over the entire series as a whole in the future. Okay, let's crack him open now. Okay, so let's get Bob out of his plastic chamber. Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. Okay, I actually did get the new one that was not broken, and he's up here. So, I was just wanting to mess with you guys. I'm so sorry. That was me. Anyway, let's pull out all the accessories that I've got for him here. And I think I'll go over his accessories first, and then we'll move on to sculpt, paint, and articulation. So, starting off, I'm going to see how the machetes look in his hands. Now, I'd also like to point out his hands actually the fingers are individually spaced. Let me get some focus here. It's very tiny detail, so if you guys can tell, there's a space in between the first finger here, the pointer finger, then the middle finger, the ring finger, and the pinky. All of them have an individual space where, like, for example, if you had little playing cards, you could put them all in between his little fingers. It's pretty cool. And then here's what it looks like with his machete in his hand. It's a very tiny little machete. It's got a nice grayish silver blade, then just a regular black plastic. Actually, I think that's paint on the back, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the overall plastic is just gray. I can't tell. There's the first machete, and here's the second machete. Now, it's actually been a little bit of time since I've reviewed a Walking Dead action figure. I don't know why. It's probably been like about a week. So, sorry about that. It's just been, the show's been taking up so much of my life because I've been enjoying it so much. But now that it's on hiatus, I don't know what to do with my life. So I guess I'm moving back to Walking Dead action figure reviews. Okay, here's what he looks like with those machetes, and he can really look awesome with these, man. I think this is probably one of the cooler machetes that I've seen. Rick came with like different machetes. They're all actually the same sculpt, just painted differently, but I like how sleek these are and tiny. Makes them look like they're just big butcher knives that he could attack you with, and he can pose really well with them. I think the articulation on this guy is really nice, and the sculpt sort of fits in with the articulation. Yeah, right off the top, I think he is better than the Eugene figure, and he's probably definitely better than the Morgan figure. And that's not just because I don't like Morgan, it's because Morgan, the figure, couldn't kick up his leg, and he couldn't bend his elbow. Yeah, so check out my review on that guy. You'll see how all the articulation works and what have you. But yeah, look at that. Stookey was awesome. I think he should have stayed around for a while. Then, if we could get rid of Morgan and bring Stookey back, that would probably be really cool. But let's take a look at his stump here, and then we'll see how it fits on his leg. Got some nice gory look there. I think it could be a lot more messed up looking, but I'm kind of glad it isn't, because that would just be messed up. You could make this look so gross, and I think they did a classy way of not making it look totally on disgusting. Let me get some zoom in here so that we can then get some focus. There we go. Very nice. Okay, now let's see how that looks on the leg. Now it's weird. The leg separates at the mid-thigh, which is weird because if you ever break a figure, it's usually at the knee or up at the thighs, like crotch part. So to see a figure separate like that, it's just so weird. I'd also like to point out, this isn't the costume he wore when he lost his leg, but what are you going to do? I mean, this is his first appearance look, And if he didn't have this leg part, he would just be Bob with 2 machetes. That would be it, because he wouldn't have this leg for sure. He wouldn't have the stump. It would just be Bob with 2 machetes. Yeah, weird. Let's get the stump out here. Arrgh. And I'd also like to point out, because of that cut in his leg, he actually does have an added little part of articulation. That's pretty cool. Look at that. Very nice. Very stumpy. I think this is cool for reenacting his final scenes or what have you, where he's like tainted meat and laughing at Gareth and throwing stuff at him, and then picks up the machete and guts them all, and then grows his leg back and waddles away as a victorious hero. Or no, wait, that's that fan fiction. I don't know. That would have been better. Yeah, I miss you, Bob. Okay, now let's move on to his final accessory here. It's his disgusting little tasty looking meat here. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. This is obviously not while they were willing to eat it. This is afterwards when, like, I think Morgan came across it, and it was looking pretty grody. So yeah. Look at that. It's got maggots in it and stuff. Oh. I don't know if my camera's picking it up too well. I'm trying to get the focus working. It's really an art form in itself to get the camera to focus. If you've ever reviewed, then you probably know that's true. Yeah, look at that. Oh man, that's really good quality. Meaty. The bottom of the foot has like no detail at all. But it's got a really gross charred look to it. Really, I think there were better ways of cooking this leg to make it look a little more attractive. Yeah, they should have had barbecue sauce. A lot of people make fun of that episode and say he's like shish kebab or something like that. Barbecue. Ooh, burn. Yeah. Now let's switch his leg back and then we can take a look at the articulation. There's the other leg. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at the articulation, then the overall sculpt, and the paint, and then we'll be done. And then make sure to look forward to my other reviews, and make sure to check out my previous reviews. And yeah, I like him better with his shirt off because he has much more articulation, you know, the jacket off. But he doesn't look quite as natural because you can see his, like, I guess articulation points there, but I don't mind it so much. Just because you can see a hinge doesn't mean it's going to ruin your day. Really, they are action figures, so if you expect not to see anything that makes you think they're an action figure, then you're expecting too much. Okay. Now, I'd also like to point out, once you get the jacket off, you can really see that he has this holster here, and he doesn't come with a gun for it, but I do have this Glock that I had lying around from The Walking Dead. It's a modified version, but it slips in here very nicely. This was originally Series 6 Rick's gun, but I cut off the silencer, and it looks much nicer that way. And I like the way it fits in there and looks. It's a nice holster design there. See that? Very nice. Okay, now check out the overall sculpt after the articulation. Let me move this stuff off to the side for now. And starting with the articulation, gotta get some focus here. Okay. Head can move full 360. Can move up that much, so he can really look up. Can move down that much. Can do some pivot. And then his arms can move up a fair amount. Yeah, not exactly to a right angle, but what are you gonna do? And then he does a full 360 at the shoulder. Then his elbow bends to almost a 90-degree angle. On both sides, pretty much the same. And then he does a full 360 at the elbow, and then full 360 spin in one spot from what it looks like at the wrist. Yeah, it's a little tight, so I can't actually say 2 spins there. And then he can do the scratch at a wall pose, and then the rolling dice pose. Okay, moving on from there, there's no waist articulation, which is probably because of this sculpted piece here where he's got the knife sticking out, which is not actually a removable accessory. Yeah. And then we've got some splits. I'm afraid to move him like to his full potential, but I'm gonna try anyway. Yep, there we go. Pretty good splits. I mean, who does the splits? Johnny Cage. He's close to Johnny Cage, but no cigar. Okay, now he can kick forward quite a bit, quite to the point where you could imagine him kicking Morgan and dropping him on the ground, picking up his machete and finishing the job. That's for effing with Carol. Okay, but, you know, that's pretty good. Okay, this leg can kick out more, though, because it doesn't have the holster on it, and then it can kick back a fair amount on both sides. Like, if he was falling forward, I guess you could use that articulation, but other than that, I can't see you using it. On this side, he can do the knee bend, pretty good. That's his right leg there. It moves to not quite 90 degrees, and then his ankle has like a little side-to-side movement, but not much. It feels like maybe if you were to cut off some more plastic here, you could really get articulation there, but who would want to do that? Then on this side, it does a spin, like full 360 at the thigh there because of his extra missing part there that they added, which is nice. That way you can, like, I guess, I don't really know what you, I guess you can't really do that pose with many characters, so you can have him, like, sitting cross-leggedly, maybe? Not quite. I don't know, but it's a little added articulation, and I've never complained about extra articulation. Or maybe I have, I don't know. The leg bends about the same at the knee there, and does a full 360 spin there. Then the foot has very little articulation. Then, let me take a quick look with the jacket on of how the articulation works here. And the jacket slash vest is fairly nice. I mean, it looks good on him, but I prefer the way he is with it off just because of the articulation, I guess. If you prefer the way the sculpt looks over the way the articulation is, then you probably prefer the vest. There we go. Now let's take a look at the paint, then the sculpt. Paint, we get some nice dirty detail on the inside of his shirt here. Let me get some focus so you guys can really see that. Yeah. Dirty details. Now, his head looks real nice. I'd say that looks like the actor. Wouldn't you? Yeah. I can really see Bob Stookey in there. You know, Bob was actually in the comics, but he was a different character, and he wasn't really in it much. He was also in, like, little books of that are based off the comics that Robert Kirkman wrote, which is really nice. And then he's got nice sculpted hair. Like, looks like they put a lot of detail into there. Let me think. Where's that Morgan action figure? I think they put more detail in his hair than the Morgan, and it's definitely painted more nicely. Morgan's got patchy spots on his head, whereas Bob here has a very nice layer of paint. Very set in there. And then good little facial hair that's been put in there, like his little 5 o'clock shadows trying to peek out around the edges. Very nice. And then beware, some of these sculpts and paints vary, actually. Like on this one here, it's a little warped looking. The one on the right, you see? And then the one I've got that's in bare condition, he's very nice looking. Let me see if I can get some focus. Stupid camera, you no focus. No, well, if it doesn't focus, then it's not the end of the world. It's a great saying. Okay. Then we get some nice silver paint on his vest, and then just some dirty paints all over him. Yeah, so, like, there's not much that they had to do, but what they did was pretty nice. For the sculpt, that's where it gets really nice. It's got nice little creases and folds everywhere. It looks very naturalistic. I like the way they did the pants especially. Look at that. Let me just straighten out his legs there. And it's got like little tiny fabric details in there. See? A little scratchiness there from the details. Yeah. Not sure if my camera is actually focusing from here. I'm a little far away from my camera, I can't tell. There we go. Weird. Very nice. And I like his shoes. Rarely do I actually point out a figure's shoes, but on him, they're really nice kicks. I kind of want those for myself. Then on the bottom, there's like little treads that only go on like the sides. Very nice. Yeah, so I really recommend this Bob. I mean, of all the figures from this series slash wave or whatever you call it, but of all of them, I'd say he's probably within first to probably second best. I say second just because I liked the Rick so much that they updated. Probably, if you consider the way it's sculpted and all, Bob's probably a better figure, but Rick's the main character, so I gotta say he's better just because they finally improved on so many things. Yeah, he's got a few ups and downs, but certainly really awesome. So make sure to stick around. I may do some other videos of this series. I may also do some error videos where I take a look at some of the errors that Walking Dead McFarlane figures have. Okay, make sure to stick around for those. I love you guys. See you guys in the next video. Peace.